بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره صدق الله العظيم. The surah Al-Zilzal. According to some scholars, it was revealed before Hijrah, and many other scholars believe that it was revealed after the migration to Medina Munawwara. This is why in many of the Qur'ans it will say Madaniyah, which means after the migration. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says about this surah, Man qara'a idha zulzilat udilat lahu binasf al-Qur'an. The virtue of this surah is so great that whoever will recite Surah Al-Zilzal, which is the surah, once will get the reward of reciting half of the Qur'an. Many of us know the virtue of Surah Al-Ikhlas, that you recite it 3 times and you get the reward of reciting the whole Qur'an, which means each time equals to reciting 1/3 of the Qur'an. But Surah Al-Zilzal, the virtue of it is reciting it once will get you the reward of reciting half of the Qur'an. Here let me clarify a question that might come in our mind, that what's the difference between a person who recites Qul Huwallahu Ahad 3 times and another person is sitting and reciting the whole Qur'an? Or a person who will recite Iza Zulzila 2 times, each time getting the reward of half of the Qur'an, and there is another person who's sitting and reciting the whole Qur'an and takes him a long time to do that. So what's the difference between the 2 people? Why not then just recite these surahs a couple of times and get the reward, and we don't even have to go through the whole Qur'an? So what does this shortcut mean, and really what is it that we get by reciting it? Remember that there are 2 different things. One is the rahmah, blessings that we get by reciting the Qur'an. Each and every word of the ayahs of Al-Quran Al-Kareem, each and every word that's in Quran Al-Kareem has a special blessings in it, has a special nur, light in it. Remember, these are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as Allah is nur, each and every letter uttered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is nur. So each and every letter of Quran Al-Kareem carries a nur in it. And then by reciting each and every word, we get 10 rewards. By the time we finish the whole Qur'an, we get as many letters multiplied by 10. But this is the reward, and the first thing we talked about was the blessings and the nur and the effect of it. By reciting Surah Idha Zulzila 2 times, or Surah Al-Ikhlas 3 times, we might get the reward of reciting these letters, but we won't be getting the blessings and the nur and the effect of the other ayahs of Al-Quran Al-Kareem. So just to get some reward, we will do this, but to get the blessings of each and every ayah, like Ayat Al-Kursi, there are such great ayahs in Quran Al-Kareem, the last ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah, last ayahs of Surah Al-Hashr, and Ayat Al-Kursi, and many other ayahs. Not only this, there are many ayahs that have a dua. By reciting Surah Qul Huwallahu Ahad 3 times, we won't be getting the blessings of that dua. There are many ayahs that are protections against many evils. We won't be getting those protections. Yes, we will get the reward, but we won't be getting all the other things that we are getting with it. And of course, one more thing, that once the person will recite the whole Qur'an, one is getting 10 rewards for each letter. The other is the reward for the time that we are spending in reciting the ayahs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the person who's reciting these surahs will get the reward of reciting the ayahs, which means 10 rewards for each letter, but he's not getting the reward for the time. The other person is spending 8 hours, 10 hours, 2 days. So he's getting the reward throughout that time, and this person is getting reward only for 5 minutes. So, just to get extra rewards and make up a lot of rewards for ourselves, we need to recite these surahs as many times as they are mentioned in the ahadith, and to get the blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for each and every ayah, for each and every letter, to get the nur in our heart, to get the protection from the ayahs, and to get the du'as of Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam that are mentioned in Quran al-Kareem. That will be only by reciting the whole Quran. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, by reciting Surah Idha Zulzila, you will get the reward of reciting half of the Quran. Basic message of the surah is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us of the real world. This is normal situation with human beings, with us, that whenever we are at certain place, we forget the other places. And we become so emotional, our emotions sometimes take over our other parts of life, that normally we forget everything else. When the person is with his children in the home, forgets about all the other people outside of the home. When the person is in the park and we are enjoying things over there, we forget about masajid and all the other places. And when the person goes to the masjid, then normally we forget about other places. When the person is with the cemetery, with the janazah and in the cemetery, then at that time we just remember that, we remember those things, we see what's in front of us, and we remember those situations. So this is a normal situation with human being, that we forget other than what we are in at that time. So because we are living in this world, so we forget all the other world. We forget everything else that we are going to be facing later on. Just like when children are playing, and during the game, they forget that how tired they are going to get and how much they have to work tomorrow, and everything else, they will forget about all of that. Keep on playing and playing and playing. They were supposed to play till 5 o'clock, now it's 6 o'clock, it's getting 8, 9, and still they want to continue playing, knowing that tomorrow they will have to go to school, and they are getting tired, they may not be able to wake up, but right now they are enjoying so much that they don't want to quit playing. Same thing with us. And this is our nature. That when we start working in this world, we see working an hour, I got 10, I got $15, I got this many dollars. So let me do a little more. A few more minutes will get me another $1. Few more minutes will get me another $1. And in this way we keep on forgetting about akhirah, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and about the real life that is for us, because this life is very short and it has to end. And human being is not created to end. All human beings are created forever. They are not created to end. In this life, we see that our life ending really is not ending, is transferring from this world to another world. We go from this life to the real life, and that is akhirah. In this life, normally people live 60 years, 70 years. A person who will live for too long, he might get to 80, 90 years. And at that time, he might be hoping and waiting for his death, and all the other people are also waiting to hear that news at any time. This is why sometimes you hear people saying, my parents are very old and they're sick, I'm going to visit them, who knows what will happen. Sometimes we say, who knows what will happen. This is in our mind, they're so old, so any time they will depart. So this is the extent of this life. As soon as the person dies, the closet is full of clothes, house is full of all the materials and every comfort things of furniture. Fridge is full of food. The account is full of money. He can buy anything in the world, but as soon as the eyes were closed and the person went back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's it. This house is not his no more. All the food that was in the fridge doesn't belong to him anymore. The closet that's full of clothing, he will not going to be dressing any of those anymore. All the money that are in the account, he is not going to use a single penny of it no more. That all belongs to other people now. This is the effect of our life. Which means we keep on collecting and collecting and collecting. And at the end, we leave everything for other people and just go. We will be judged for it and other people will use it. Look at this. That we are going to be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you had $1 million in your account. Your total asset was $2 million. Tell me about each and every penny. Where did you get it from? I am being questioned and other people are using it. This is the reality of this life. And subhanallah, it's all of us together in the same boat. That as we get older, we want to collect more. A person who is in his 70s and he has $200,000 sitting in his account, has in his own home, he will not think that I have enough now for the rest of 10, 15 years that I have to live. He will try to get more. And will try not to use what I have in my account. I don't want to use it. For what? That answer, I cannot even give it to myself. I might do the same thing when I'm at that age. We cannot answer ourselves, and we have no answer to ourselves for this question. That in our 60s, in our 70s, when there is $500,000 sitting over there, and still we want to work and get some more, for what? And we will say, okay, it's for our children. Which is really, we are admitting that I'm going to be responsible for earning, for being questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I will leave it for other people to use. So all of what we are collecting really is not for us. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in the hadith, that human being says, Mali, Mali, my wealth, my wealth. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, oh human being, remember, that yours is only that you will eat, or you will dress, and use it in this life. Ma akalta, whatever you eat, and then you will get rid of it. And whatever you will dress, and then you will throw in the garbage. That's yours. And whatever you will leave behind you, that's all, none of it is yours, it belongs to someone else. So this is the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us in this surah of Quran al-Kareem, which is called Surah Zalzalah. Zalzalah means earthquake. Zalzala yuzalzilu in Arabic language means to shake up something. To shake anything is zalzala. And this is why as the earth starts shaking, it's called earthquake, which is called zalzala, as zilzal in Arabic language. So this ayah, this surah is named after zilzal, which means earthquake. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us about the main earthquake that will be coming. And all of us will have to go through that earthquake. Normally we hear there was an earthquake at that part of in that country or in that town, and those people were affected. This surah is reminding us that an earthquake is going to come by which all of us are going to be affected. And all of us will have to face that earthquake. إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. When the earth will be shaken with its earthquake. Idha means when. And this word will be repeated again and again. It's repeated many times in Quran al-Kareem. Idha ja'a nasrullah. So idha means when. Zulzilat. Zulzilat means shaken. So when the earth will be shaken, zilzalaha, with its earthquake. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. أَخْرَجَ يُخْرِجُ means to bring out. Kharaja is to go out. Akhraja to bring out. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْض. Al-ard is earth, as many or some of the scholars believe that the word, this word ard, it's really the original of the English language that we have. We use earth. Earth, many people believe that it's taken, they use the Arabic word ard and they made a slight change in it, and earth is called earth in the English language. It's driven from the same earth. So our أخرجت الأرض, and the earth will bring out أثقالها. ثقل means weight. Anything is heavy, it's ثقيل. ثقل is weight. وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها, and the earth will bring out its burdens, all the weight that it's carrying. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا. قَالَ means say. And al-insan, human being. The human being will say, مَا لَهَا. What is the matter with it? مَا لَكَ, what's the matter with you? مَا لَهَا, what's the matter with it? So إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا, when the earth will be shaken with its earthquake, وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا, and the earth will bring out all of its burdens. وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا, and the human being will say, what's the matter with it? Let's deal with these three ayahs first. What is this zalzalah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the earthquake that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about in these ayahs? Remember, before the Day of Judgment, there will be different earthquakes in the world. As when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam talked about major signs before the Day of Judgment, there are 10 major signs before the Day of Judgment. One of those major signs and one of the signs of the Day of Judgment is the earthquake that will shake up everything in the world. There will be different earthquakes before the Day of Judgment. In fact, this reminds me of a hadith in which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, there will be major earthquake before the Day of Judgment in Medina Munawwara. Normally there are no earthquakes in Medina Munawwara. And throughout the history, there was never earthquake in Medina Munawwara. 2 years back, when I went to visit for Umrah, I went for Umrah and to visit Mecca and Medina. At that time, there was a very slight earthquake in Medina Munawwara for the first time. And all the people were really afraid because of it, because that was the first time it happens there. And it looks like it was just a beginning of it. The real one that is to come, that will be a major one in Medina Munawwara. Once that will happen, many people will leave that city. Many people will leave Medina Munawwara. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the people who are there for any other reason than just being in my town will leave. Those people who are staying there because of me, because they love Medina, those people will stay, the rest of the people will leave. And then Dajjal will come out, because Dajjal is not allowed in Medina Munawwara. So not every person in Medina Munawwara will be protected against Dajjal. Those people who are living in Medina for any other reason, they will leave Medina Munawwara once they will see the earthquakes coming in Medina Munawwara. And as they will leave, then Dajjal will come and they will be attacked by Dajjal. So there will be many earthquakes before the Day of Judgment. But in this ayah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the earthquake, it seems that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not talking about these earthquakes that will be coming before the Day of Judgment, before every person will die. This earthquake, according to many mufassirin, will be after we are resurrected. And once we all will die, then we are resurrected. As we will be resurrected, and all of us will come out of the graves, that will be the time when this earthquake will take place that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about in the surah. So, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا, when the earth will be shaken with its earthquake, and that is, as I said, according to many Mufassirin, will be after the resurrection, once we will come out of our graves. What will happen? At that time, because of that earthquake, أَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا, the earth will bring out all of its burden. What is this burden that the earth will bring out? Two things. One is all the treasures that is in it. Gold, silver, all the mines and everything that's buried in the ground, in the earth, will come out. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in the hadith, which is in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, and the hadith is narrated by Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the earth will bring out all the treasures, gold and silver, like columns, like big columns. There will be columns of gold and silver that will come out and will be just sitting on the ground. فَيَأْتِ السَّارِقُ فَيَقُولُ فِي هَذَا فِي مِثْلِ هَذَا قُطِعَتْ يَدِي. A thief will come whose hand was cut, and he will say, look, because of this my hand was cut, and now it's sitting over there, no one wants to touch it. وَيَأْتِ الْقَاتِلِ فَيَقُولُ فِي هَذَا قَتَلْتِ. A killer will come who have killed some other people and will say, see, just because of this I have killed people. And now it's sitting over there. No one wants it. And وَيَأْتِ الْقَاطِعِ فَيَقُولُ فِي هَذَا قَطَعْتُ رَحِيمِي. Another person will come and he will say, just because of this I broke relationship with so many people, and now it's sitting over there, no one wants it. ثُمَّ يَدَعُونَهُ فَلَا يَأْخُذُونَ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. All of them will just leave it there and no one will touch it and no one will take anything from it. So this is أَثْقَالَهَا. All the burden will come out. All the treasures will come out. Will be just sitting over there, no one wants to touch it. What are we going to do with the gold and silver on the Day of Judgment? What are we going to do with dollars and pennies on the Day of Judgment? We all know it's not worth it now. At that time, this gold and silver will be just like a dust to us. Will have no value, no importance. In fact, we will hate looking at that gold and silver more than we hate looking at the dust, because we will feel, because of this I have done so many wrong things in this life. Because of this I have disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of this I wasted so much of my time. And look, now it's not worth it. This is garbage. I wish I would have known that this is garbage and is going to be thrown out like this. I would have never worked for it. This is a fact of our life. But at the same time, the greed that we as human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in our nature, is it going to go away just by hearing these ahadith? Tomorrow we will be the same place. But of course, now we know, and by hearing these type of ahadith, at least it refreshes our iman. And at least will make us realize, and makes us realize the reality of these things. Now when we work for it, we have less important of it than we would normally have for it. And this is very important. But even though we work for it, but we realize that this is not everything. And we don't live for this, and my life is not for these things. The main goal and the purpose of the life is something else. This is something that I have to do for my living. وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. If we try to picture that scene and try to think about the situation, that we will see all the pearls, gold, silver, everything around us. Mountains of gold and silver there. And we are walking by it. And we are passing by all of these things and none of us wants to touch it. No one wants to take anything from it. And no one of us would even like to talk about these things. In fact, each of us is cursing at these things that just because of this, I wasted so much of my time. Instead of doing the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I was working on these things. If we go to the junkyard and see all the cars, the old cars that are over there, and how they crush those cars because they would like to melt the metal and reuse it, recycle that. The broken cars that are over there, imagine, only 15, 20 years back. The owners of those cars thought that this is so great, for this I can fight with my brother, with my sister, with my parents, with my children, just because of this. Only 15 years back, this was the situation of this car. 15 years later, the same person sold it for $50 to the junkyard for them to recycle it and just get some metal out of it. That's it. This is the reality of it. And on that day, we will not even get the $50 that we are getting now. And this will be the situation of everything of our life. This is the metal, but same thing with gold, silver, everything in our life. That will be the situation. And we will be looking at these things just like we look at the toys. Children look at the toys. For children, these small toys are very important. They fight for it, they cry for it. And brothers and sisters, you see them fighting. What was the big fight about? It was because of those toys. He broke my home. And she says, no, he broke my home first.